God's call. Let every man abide in the same calling wherein he was called. 1 Corinthians 7:20. Readings, 2 Chronicles 26 verse 3-1. Many people believe that God only calls individuals into pulpit ministries. This isn't true. If God only calls people to serve him on the pulpit, then it means that he is leaving other important areas of life to the devil. Every believer has a calling in one area of life or the other. In the Bible, we see God calling people into government. Joseph was called into leadership, and his obedience preserved the lives of his people. Genesis 45 verse 7. Daniel was also called to shine God's light in the government of idolatrous Babylon, and he obeyed. He served under several kings and fulfilled his calling to reveal the power and presence of God through his roles in the government. Daniel 6 verse 25-28. Also, Nehemiah wasn't called into the office of a priest. He was called to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, and he did this joyfully. Nehemiah 2 verse 1-5. Esther stayed at her duty post in the government house before God called her into the influential position of the queen in the palace. Esther 2 verse 16-17. Her submission to God saved the lives of the Jews when Haman, their enemy, plotted to destroy them. Esther 7. God also calls people into business. Lydia of Thyatira was a seller of purple, an expensive cloth worn by kings and queens. Only very rich people could afford her wares, and God positioned her there so that she could use her resources to advance the kingdom. Acts 16 verse 14. God calls people to serve in different areas of life. Do you know the area he has called you into? People who live or move outside their places of calling will struggle because they have set themselves against God's purpose for their lives. In 2 Chronicles 26 verse 16-21, the Bible tells us about King Uzziah, who decided to operate in another office that God did not call him into. As Israel's king, he enjoyed God's grace and favor until he decided to operate in the office of a priest. He went into the temple to burn incense and didn't return the same way. He came out leprous and was isolated. Whenever people operate in places God has not called them into, they become isolated from his grace and provision. Beloved, if God has called you to serve him in any area of life, focus on your calling in that area. Do not compare yourself to other people who are flourishing in other areas. Obey God wholeheartedly in your calling, and you will experience his abundant grace and provision. Find out what God has called you to do and focus on it. Was this message a blessing to you? Let us know by liking, sharing, and commenting below. Share your experiences or insights on avoiding strife and promoting unity in your relationships. Let's encourage one another.